Oh hey, welcome to Tommy's Reptiles. In this video, we're gonna set up another green tree monitor enclosure. We're now gonna start on part 2 of the green tree monitor enclosure project. This is the first enclosure I did, and now I have to remove everything from this enclosure. I'm probably gonna use that big branch, but we're gonna scape this up similar to this one, and then we're gonna keep the male and female separated for a little while, just so I can make sure they're both eating. First, we're gonna remove the glass panels, then secure one of these bad boys over the heat light so the green tree monitor doesn't get burned. The next step, I'm gonna remove the decor, remove all the mulch and all that stuff, get it out of the way, and then I'm really gonna staple that background into the enclosure itself, just so the monitor can't wedge itself behind it. Next up, we're going to staple this background with probably hundreds of staples, so there's no way the monitor will be able to get up and crawl behind the background. I don't like when they go behind the background because I don't know if they're stuck, I don't know what's going on with them, so we need them to stay on this side of the background. All right, you guys can see I overloaded this thing with staples. There's still a couple weak points, like possibly right up here where it comes out a little bit, but I'm gonna stuff the weak points with probably wood, something the monitor can't surpass. Okay, at the bottom, I'm just gonna use some bricks to try to block this off. And this rock. Perfect fit right there. Next up, we're gonna start doing the sides of this enclosure. I ordered these moss cork panel things, which look pretty cool. I'm gonna use them mostly on this side, because on this side, I have to keep those air vents open so we can get some good circulation. Pretty easy. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. For the rest of this side, I'm gonna cut this up and fill in all the white space. Okay, now let's move on to the other side. All right, so you guys can see here, I stuffed this little stick in there so the monitor couldn't wedge its way behind the background. That's one of the openings. And then up here, where the vents are, I'm gonna pull some of these plants that are blocking the vents a little bit so airflow can get through with ease. That's the cool thing about these little plant side panels. You can just rip out whatever you want. There we go. Time to start adding the hardscape. Let's get this big branch situated. This is like the centerpiece. I want to make sure that the monitor can get close to the heat light but not burn itself. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere like right here. Let's see. Or I can put it back a little further. I think for now I'm going to go with the branch right here. I think it's a good location, but if I have to move it, I will, no big deal. Let's add the main plant, which is a cat palm, just like the other enclosure. We're gonna wedge it right back there. Next, let's add this bird branch that I got at the pet shop. I think I'm gonna wedge it like somewhere over here so the monitor can get under the UVB and bask a little bit. Maybe like right there, something like that. All right, I'm liking that right there. Just gonna take a zip tie, and you can see there's a little screw on the end of it, and I'm just gonna simply zip tie right around here, and the other end is wedged against the side of the enclosure. There we go. We'll just give that zip tie a little snip. Perfect. Next, I'm going to add the substrate, which is a mixture between cocoa fiber, topsoil, and sand. I'm just going to dump it in there and then mix it around with my hands. Now I'm going to add some leaves to the bottom of this enclosure. Now I'm going to add some rocks in this part of the potted plant just so the monitor doesn't decide to dig or anything in there. Then I'm going to start hiding this pot with some cork. Break some pieces off. Wedge it right there. Wedge one right there. Bam. For a nice hide for this monitor, I'm going to try one of these little woven bird's nests and see if it takes refuge in here. We'll put it back here behind this area so it can hide from me if it's scared and kind of keep its distance. I think that's a good spot for it. The last step before I put the lizard in here is to screw this little dish holder into this piece of wood right here so I can put the lizard's water dish and food dish in this little ring. Let's give the enclosure a nice spray down. Let's add the cleanup crew. Got a bunch of springtails here. We're going to add these for now, and then we're going to get some isopods in the future. Let's slap this glass in and then release the monitor lizard in his new enclosure. So this is how the side-by-side green tree monitor enclosure turned out. Let's go grab them and release them each in their own enclosure. Okay, so I have both monitors in this bucket. I had to keep them there while I did this because I didn't want them to freak out with all the banging and stuff. So I have to figure out which one is the smaller one. I want to put them in the left enclosure, and the bigger one I want to keep in the right enclosure. This is going to be a challenge. Gotta do this fast. You go in here. That was easy. And let's move over here to the new enclosure and let this little one in. Here we go. What a beauty. I don't want to hold them for too long. I just want them to get comfortable. There you go. All right, guys, it's been about an hour. I'm happy to report that this one is still out, soaking up some heat. Still gonna leave this one alone. I don't want this one to be spooked because I really didn't like how they were hiding behind the background for days. And then over here, this one is just hanging out on the bromeliad. This one has been eating off tongs. So this one has definitely been warming up to me a little bit. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching Tommy's Reptiles.